The sons of Hercules, the mighty sons of Hercules, once thundered through the years. These men of steel could never feel the curse of a coward's fears. All right, welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, your master of martial arts. Today we are going to be watching and reviewing Hercules and the Captive Women, aka Hercules Conquers Atlantis from 1961. This is one of two that Reg Park did. Well, before we get too much further into it, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this movie. Do you like peplums in general? This one's pretty good, but it did have some editing when it was brought over here. Let me know what you think. I like it quite a bit, even more than its predecessor. Although Reg Park is in both of them. But yes, and leave me a comment. And if you could, just watch a little longer. It won't take too long, I don't think. Shouldn't have too much to talk about. it's fair enough. So, having said all that, are you ready? Let's roll. Okay, so this movie was released as Hercules and the Conquest of Atlantis, or in April 19th of 1961 in Italy, with 101-minute running time, and then released on April 15th of 1963, almost exactly 2 years later, with a 94-minute running time. I do have a couple of shots from the Italian version, but it was only subtitled in English, so I didn't watch it. I just watched the dubbed one, which was in a nice widescreen presentation, as we see here, by the Woolner brothers. There's the original one. And then there is their title, which was animated, starring Reg Park and Faye Spain. As I said, Reg Park did two of these Hercules movies that you're highly thought of. This was his first one. For some reason, I always thought the second one was Hercules in the Haunted World, which everyone seems to like. Same year, I think that one was directed by the the cinematography. Oh, it's story by Mario Bava, directed by Mario Bava, screenplay by Mario Bava. Anyway, it's got a lot going on in it, but people love it. It also has Christopher Lee in it, but I enjoyed this one more for whatever reason. Narration by Leon Selznick at the very beginning, who tells you what's going on. Title design was by Filmation Associates, so this is one of their earlier things that they did, which I think they didn't bother to talk about. And it's got a nice it's a widescreen presentation with its English dub, or the US dub. This was released in the theaters, which not many did. Now, the peplum phase started in 58, and then this 61, it was still pretty fresh. I mean, it lasted about 7 years, I want to say, 6 or 7 years total, more or less, let's say that. And it ran its course. It was bottom of the barrel. A lot of it was bottom of the barrel and gladiator movies by the time they were done. This does have a lot of the tropes in it. So here's the new opening narration to showing you the map of Thebes, Athens, and Sparta, making up of Greece. So the narrator talks about how to keep in shape, there was good-natured brawling, and this is where the movie starts. You don't get that opening narration. There is Hercules, who looks a bit world-weary at this point in time and tired of adventuring, probably after his 12 labors. But he's still strong, and his son is there. Hylas is his son in this one, rather than anything else that he might have been in the other mythologies. Reg Park is, like I said, he did several of these. Gosh, I don't know what else. He didn't do too many, actually. Machiste in King Solomon's Mines, Hercules Prisoner of Evil, and Hercules the Avenger. That's the only thing I see in here. Let's see, born in June 7th, 1928. Passed away November 22nd, 2007 in Johannesburg. He's from England, Johannesburg, South Africa. He was let's see, Mr. Britain, Mr. Universe, his predecessor. Steve Reeves was his predecessor. Paul Winter was his successor. And I believe we've seen Paul already in many of these, some of these movies, Mole Men Against Atlas and the Land of the Cyclops. So there you go. Faye Spain is the other top billed star. But here they have the sun gets blotted out. Something shows up and tells them there is a catastrophe coming, but it's hard to see in this print. Not the greatest, but it's what I had. There's Hercules and his son Hylas, and they go to talk to this oracle guy, and he tells them that calamity's coming and they can stop it. So the king of Thebes and the king of Sparta, and let's see, the other king is Androcles is the king of Thebes. This is the king of Sparta, and the other Athens. I guess this is Megara, but so none of them want to go. They're all kind of jerks except for Androcles, and he wants Hercules to go with him. And there's Deianira. Then we get one more shot from the other DVD, the Blu-ray from Studio Canal, but which is gorgeous, but the aspect ratio is a little off, as you can tell. So Androcles shows up and he says, "Nope." Deianira says, "No, he's staying with me. He's done adventuring." And he's like, "All right." Hylas has other plans, and then he wakes up on the ship, and that's his buddy Timoteo, called Timotheus in the English dub, and referred to by me as Tim. Salvatore Funari, who played many roles. And here he's just an adventurer with him. They don't make fun of him or anything. He's not used as comedy, a little comedy, but he's a regular person here, and that's nice to see in these because he wasn't. Hercules wakes up. He asks Androcles how long they've been out, and they go on about their business. He's like, "All right, whatever." So there's their ship, and Hylas has stowed away, and the only person that knows it is Tim. But he won't. He's like, "I want to get up there. I'm tired of being down here. I'm cramped up. I need sunlight." Because he's going to get rickets if he's not careful. Much like Sinbad, the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, the crew is made up of cutthroats and pickpockets and things, and they cut all the water casks up, and so they have to go ashore here. So there they go. Hercules. A lot of the reviews call him Sleepy Hercules, and he does spend but he was drugged in this first one. But then he just lays down and says, "Go find your own food. I'm not helping you." So the bad guy, the crew, conks out Androcles, tries to take over the ship. Tim fights back with him, does a little bit of the standard running through the legs and everything. Herc wakes up just in time and grabs the anchor, and this is a great shot because he pulls it, and Reg here has a great build, no doubt about it, and he looks like he could actually pull the ship back, and he does. They leave the cutthroats there, and it's only the three of them and Hylas in the hold. And he says, "Well, we'll come back for you, and if maybe if somebody else stops by and picks you up, that's all right too." And we don't know what happened to them. That's all last we see of those guys. Androcles is like, "Aren't you being a little too nice?" He's like, "No, we don't need to have to kill him." So then we get the obligatory storm, and Androcles gets washed overboard. The ship cracks up. Herc's asleep again because he's unconscious now. But he sees Androcles in a vision, yelling for him. Reg Park is not a swimmer. He could have been, but he's not. At least not a trained swimmer. He probably wouldn't drown, but he comes across this young lady who is Ismene. Geez, I didn't hear her name. Played by Laura Efrikian. That's a name and a half, isn't it? She's still alive, 85 years old. Good on her. She's trapped in the wall here, which is kind of gruesome, but she's a sacrifice to Proteus, who protects Atlantis. Hercules says, "Well, come on out. And so this is his first form. Then he shows up as the picture of the saurian lizard thing, a flame. He turns into a snake and a lion and an eagle. And finally, we have the battle with as the dinosaur thing. Herc rips the horn off and he's dead. So it's always good to see a monster of any kind. I mean, this is a good looking model, so or a good looking costume. I don't have any problem with it. There she and Ismay. I'm going to call her Izzy because I don't know how it was pronounced. Izzy says, "Look, there's Atlantis, my home." She's a designated sacrifice. So now we get to Atlantis. Somehow, either they swim or something. They don't actually tell us how Herc gets there. But today is dedicated to Uranus. I just thought that was funny. And they're going to sacrifice these kids to be turned into experiments, and they're looking right at the camera. Half of them are. So I don't know who dubbed this. I think it was probably redubbed over here in '61, so it could be the Tetra crew or Fred Ladd's crew. It all depends on where it was, but it's a good dub. I mean, Reg Park is probably, I mean, he probably spoke English, so his lines were easy. They walk in here. There's Uranus himself, and mom. That's her mom. That is the Queen Antennae of Atlantis, who is Izzy's mom, and she's not happy to see Izzy alive. Here they go. Herc beats up a lot of, just throws around guys. See, this is where the martial art comes in because grappling is a martial art, no matter what you say. I mean, remember this whole, Brazilian jiu-jitsu phase that was active for in the late '90s and early O's. So that's why I can include it on martial arts matinee here on Shaolin Saturday. There she is. She's not happy to see her mom, but Izzy thinks everything's going to be all right. Dun dun dun. And now and of course, Antonia is taken with Hercules because they always are. She's like, what? And she says, you still have to be sacrificed for the good of Atlantis. That looks like Androcles, who does not recognize Herc. And she's like, it's just somebody that looks like him. And Hylas and Tim are alive. Hylas wants to sleep. And and obviously the music has been changed for the US dub. We do hear a lot of the Creature from the Black Lagoon sting, which we also hear in, of course, King Kong versus Godzilla. So I don't know what the original music was, how it sounds, because, once again, didn't watch it. So he's tied her up. This guy here, this poor schlub, Tim and Hylas rescue her. And of course, Hylas falls in love with Izzy right away because she's cute. And there's old Herc in repose yet again, but he's not asleep yet. And she's trying to get him to go to their side. This masked figure shows up. Guess who it is? Androcles. Now his mind's been warped. He doesn't remember anything. He thinks he's a citizen of Atlantis. So, I mean, and Herc knocks him out. She comes in and gives Herc, drugs his wine to try. And I thought it was a mind altering drug for Herc, but that doesn't. She just drugs him and thinks he's, be on their side. This is a common staple of a lot of peplum movies, but it's done well here. And it was, again, '61. They find out who lost Izzy, and guess what? They dunk him in this, and he turns it's boiling oil or hot oil or something, or acid, and he's skeletonized. And Herc wakes up and just escapes and puts him back. They can't figure out how he got out because apparently they have never heard of Hercules in Atlantis. I was wondering, well, we'll get to that. So, there's Tim and Hylas and Izzy. They're walking along. And I just like the scenery here because it's gorgeous. And Herc is looking at the pit with the slaves because there's always slaves in Atlantis because they've gotten too big for their britches. So we know what's going to happen. And they're lowering food down to these poor schlubs and also Androcles. So he's going to be a slave now. Herc and Tim are reunited. And I don't know that Tim says Hylas is here. I don't know why I would keep that a secret, but Herc frees the prisoners. They go off and they've been converted. There's something that's changed them into these people instead of what we'll see. So and they're like, she's all sad. But here is what it is: this pit of something or another that mutates them. They can either turn into warriors or into awful creatures that get used as slaves. This guy knows that everything's wrong, and he wants Atlantis stopped. That would be Zenith, the priest of Uranus. Yeah, I'm guessing. Played by Mario Petri. So there we go. And I don't know what he's doing there. He's casting magic missile. But there, the slaves are revolting, but they just get wiped out by the guards. And Herc shows up, and they're all dead. So kind of, at least they lived as men and died as men, right? Off he goes, beats up more guards. She kisses it. The queen kisses him, and he's like, nope. So she bangs the gong, and they're about to get it on. So here, Hercules is showing his strength off, and then this guy does the same thing, but then he uses the drumstick to at least destroy one of them. Then he take off all their masks and show that they're all clones of. I want to say that's Astor, but I don't know. We're going to say that. So look at that. They're all the same thing. They're all clones. All are one and one are all. Alice Cooper reference there. And also an excellent cover by the Epoxies. See him, look, they suddenly built up his eyebrow. He's controlling them. They both have that, but I thought she did it first, but no. She's just evil. So off the battle goes. Herc escapes, and he finds Hylas, who's also a captive. So they have to figure it out, and got the stopping the walls from crushing them, this time from above instead of the sides. They escape. Hylas kills one of the clones and takes his outfit so he can infiltrate him. This is from, obviously, Ben-Hur. You gotta have that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 10 or 12 horses they've got there, which is impressive. They put some money in this. The sets are nice. It's shot really well. Look at these underground sets. Now, granted, they just had them run through about the same set about 4 times and redressed it. But, I had to clean up a lot of horse dookie. And Herc sets the horses free and then lights it on fire. Here's one of the clones getting burned. So then he breaks it down so it collapses. All the tropes are here. He's using his strength, but it's really a very quickly moving movie. Quickly moving, yeah. And so this has to be hit by sunlight in order to destroy it. And there's the ships that are supposed to go out to conquer the world. Hylas and Tim are now reunited. Herc punctures, and see, Hylas is dressed up as he says, don't make any noise. And so he pretends to there, but Herc gets the sunlight in, so there it is. Once it gets to here, Atlantis is doomed. Is there any movie about Atlantis movie where it survives? It always ends up Atlantis, the Lost Continent, Conqueror of Atlantis, another peplum I really enjoy. Giant of Metropolis sort of is Atlantis based. There, oops, dang it, where'd that go? Gotta go back here. Sorry. Okay, so there we go. There's that ray, the 2-timing ray of light, if you want to quote Willie the Groundskeeper. And they're doing some kind of thing. And Hylas punches. Oh, so that was the signal, was the red smoke to go out and conquer the world. But Hylas is taking it over. Herc runs through the same thing. There he is diving. Well, that's not him. You can look at his back. That is a professional diver who looks great when he lands. Swims aboard. Everyone's reunited. Zenith points the sunlight into the pit, and the explosion happens. But the magma and it's a real. They just cut in an actual volcano exploding. Lots of a nice miniature work here of things. I don't know if the U.S. people cut that in. It would not surprise me because it's really well done. Italy is not particularly well known for their special effects miniatures, but there she is. And see, this crumbles down, but that has to be from there, I would think. And just really great stuff. The ending is good. 94 minutes is a really perfect running time. Too many of them are too long and boring. There's the Atlantis explodes real good. And she, of course, Izzy's sad because, her mom's dead, but she's alive. And Androcles remembers nothing, nothing at all. And he says, "You saved the world." Well, Greece, anyway. And of course, Hylas and Izzy are kissing and they sail off into the sunset. So it's a good movie. I quite enjoyed it. I mean, I don't know that I'll ever watch it again, or at least I have to review it again. But there's the end. And again, this was made 3 years into the cycle, so it was new. They did a lot of good stuff here, put some money behind it. It had not gotten cheap, and everyone wasn't trying to flood the market. So there is our episode for today. Tomorrow we're not going to watch The Curse of the Undead. Sorry, Sven. But we will be watching The X from Outer Space, one of my most favorite non-Godzilla movies, because I love Gulala. So until our next assignment, my fellow agents, this is X7 signing off and phasing out.